Some of this shit is made up as I go, and I'm convincing myself that I'm doing it the right way. I'm going to be living in this house. We're going to see if it works, if the talk actually works. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it may be, Modern Craftsman family. I am sitting down recording another midweek, which is going to be a project update on our own personal build. If you guys have been following along online, we broke ground a few weeks ago, and I've been getting a ton of questions, what we're doing, what the project entails, if I have plans, if I'm willing to share them, all that, which yes, I am. So I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on that, just brief you on what we're doing, what the build is comprised of, where I stand, what I've been up to. So if you're interested in that type of thing, hang along here and I'll get into that. So another thing that I want to mention is that if you're not part of the CCS Circle community, please do that. The link is in our link tree. We've been getting a lot of really great questions on there. The community is a great group of people. I'm very impressed with how open everyone is on there and willing to help, willing to just be transparent about their numbers, about their processes, about struggles that they're going through. So that's been really great to see. I love getting on there, answering questions, seeing what people are talking about and sharing, and just seeing everyone help each other out is, to be honest, it's just an amazing feeling, and it's really cool to see that and be a part of that and see the community come together and support each other. So if you're interested in joining that Modern Craftsman Circle community and you can't find it, shoot us an email, hello@moderncraftsman.co, or go on to our Instagram, Modern Craftsman Pod, and click on it in the link tree. All right. So our house, I broke ground a few weeks ago. First thing I had to do was open up the driveway some. There's a huge berm out of the street for privacy that the man we bought from built. So I got that out of the way. I had to get a construction apron in. I had to get our soil erosion control in place and inspected. And then I could get the driveway in, construction apron in. I have a big parking pad that I had to get in, so I had to dig down. It's old farmland. There was never anything on the property, so there's a lot of topsoil, so I wanted to get rid of all that organic matter, dig down to sand, get some larger stone in there, so I used for just stabilizing. The sand is very stable, but I put a layer of 4-inch and larger crushed concrete in, and then over top of that for a sub base, and to lock it all together, I ended up putting DGA, dense grade aggregate, which is like a road base. And then once I got that in, I could start getting trucks in and out. So I started digging the foundation. I showed everyone how I laid all of that out. I mentioned on a recent podcast how I purchased that SVL 75-3 from Cherry Valley. I probably have close to 50 hours on that now. It's been amazing. Really awesome machine. Super easy to use, way easier to get a handle of and a grasp of compared to the excavator. Just much simpler. Definitely still need the excavator for a ton. There's applications for the excavator that the I guess it's a compact track loader, cannot do that the Mini X can, and vice versa. A small unit for what I'm doing, the Mini X, but it's handled everything that I've needed it to. Probably some areas where it could be quicker, just general digging, but honestly, for my needs, it's been perfect and it's been great. So I got the entire foundation marked out. I overdug it 3 feet. Grade is coming up towards the back of my house some, so the front was close to finished grade. I had to bring some fill in from the excavation, and then the back's coming up maybe 2 feet or so. So what I did when I excavated is I tried to understand where my finished grade was in elevation, because my excavator doesn't have a massive reach, because I couldn't dig the whole thing from outside of the hole and just put the soil where I needed it. I tried to pile the soil in one spot and then understand where my finished grade was. So I ran around and I staked all the corners of the buildings and marked grade on that. And then if need be, I could string a line from corner to corner. So as I was excavating, I could take that soil and put it where I needed it prior to backfill, but just outside of my overdig. So I wasn't moving things 2 and 3 times, right? I could have just dug all of it and just put it in big piles and then worried about rough grade later or when I go to backfill. But I was like, I already have to move this once. Let me take some time, figure out where I need the fill, and then move it once. So that worked out well. It took longer to excavate because I wasn't just moving soil and dumping it in massive piles. I had to understand where it was going, and I graded it out as I went. So the excavation seemed to take a little longer than anticipated. But at the end of the day, now I have water moving where it's supposed to, where it was designed to on the grading plan. I'm still a little below final grade, which it's going to get messed up throughout construction. I still have to dig septic and all of that, so I still have more fill and more grading that I have to do, but at least the general shape of the property, the land, the way that it is on the grading plan, it's really taken shape, and water will move the way it's supposed to. So throughout construction, I'll be dealing with a relatively dry site. And also just so I have an idea of how the land's going to work, because I haven't done this before. I'll be able to understand how the runoff, what's happening with runoff, the way that the grading works, things that I might need to fine tune or adjust. And as I progress through construction, I'll just understand how this site is designed to work, because I can read it on paper, but I haven't done massive grading projects. So understanding what the contours are and how to shape this land the way that it was designed, where the cuts are, where the fills are, just a general idea of what this is all supposed to look like and how it's supposed to work. So I got all the excavation done, and I staked all the corners of my building so that I knew exactly where every corner was. So my dig could be very accurate. Again, took me a little bit longer time than just spray painting marks and over digging, but it'll save me when I go to backfill. And even as far as my drainage and everything else, I can get all of that in place because my excavation, my corners are all marked, and it's very accurate. So we're going with a Superior Walls foundation system. So if you have not heard of them, it is a precast masonry, insulated masonry wall that's built, fabricated off-site, and then it's transported to site. It's craned in place. They'll probably have it done before lunchtime when they come to do it on the 18th of June. There's not a traditional footing. So the wall is 10.25 wide based on your soil bearing capacity, based on how many stories your house are, based on the height of the wall. Everything else dictates the depth of your footing and the size of your footing, which is a 3/8 clean stone. So that 3/8 clean stone pretty much compacts itself, and it's also very easy to grade. So they want it where your footing is, where you're laying this out, they want it about 4 feet wide. They want the drainage pipe to be encapsulated within that 1 foot, minimum 1 foot outside of the exterior of this Superior Wall foundation system, because the way that the load transferred on an angle, you want to make sure that you're not within that load path. So they spec out this 3/8 stone. It's an expensive stone, so I didn't want to be wasting it. I'm going to be infilling the center with 3/4 clean, which is a little less money, about half the cost per load, per ton. So I marked out where everything needed to be. I marked the center or the exterior of my foundation, and then I marked where I wanted my pipe to be. I marked where I needed my stone to be, so I could spread that stone and get that drainage in exactly where I need be and not waste a ton of this stone. So a couple of people had reached out, Nick included, saying, I've never seen drainage done prior to footing and foundation. And you can do it before, you can do it after. It's going to be more common in a Superior Walls application to be doing it beforehand, because it's not a concrete footing. It's just a stone footing that the wall is then placed on top of. So they spec that they want this drainage pipe, which is 4 inches, encapsulated within this clean stone, and it has to be a foot outside of that exterior of the foundation wall. So this stone moves. You breathe on it and it moves from where it is. So it doesn't stay in place. So if I were to do this piping afterwards, it has to be within this 6-inch, encapsulated within the 6-inch clean 3A stone. I would have the footing in, and then they would install the walls, and then I'd have to put the pipe in afterwards. So with my overdig, which they really only wanted a 2-foot overdig, I did a 3-foot overdig to give me a little bit of extra space. But this spillover from the stone and from them grading would have spilled over into where my pipe's going. So then my pipe either would have been above the footing itself, which it's not supposed to be, or I would have been shoveling out stone, or I could have overdug an additional foot and then bumped the pipe out more and then had to add more clean stone, which adds the cost. So a lot of people are doing it beforehand. I opted to do it beforehand, being that I knew exactly where my corners of my building were. I knew exactly where all of my foundation walls are going to be. I could measure out and just place this minimum 12 inches outside. And again, that's a buffer. I know that my spread between the thickness of my footing, realistically, it's only going 5 inches outside at the base of where it meets the dirt. So it's if I have a 10 1/4 wall, it's less than 20 inches of support underneath of that. So my pipe's nowhere near it. It's 12 inches outside of that. So I put it in the stone. It's not pitched. That's an argument that you can have with a lot of people, but it's a perforated PVC pipe. It has holes in the bottom. The way that it works is the stone fills up, the pipe fills up, it then goes to the low point in the system, which are my sump pump pits. Whether that's pitched or not, the entire stone, clean stone, would be filled with water, and it being pitched with holes in the bottom are not going to make it to the sump pump because of the pitch. It's going to make it to the sump pump because the sump pump is the low spot in the system. So what I ended up doing is I excavated, and then I put down the 3A stone and about an inch or two thick, and then I placed my pipe. I roughed everything in. I already knew where my stone was going, so then I encapsulated that within the stone. So now I have rough elevation set of my superior wall's footing. I still need to fine tune that. I still need to bring it up about an inch, but I have most of the stone in there. I know if I need to order more. The drainage is all done. I still have to dig the sump pits, but it worked out really well that way. I piped it in all with the rigid pipe because I think it's a little nicer than the corrugated, and it's a super clean install. It worked really well for me. You can do it after, just for me being that I know where the corners of the buildings were and the 3A stone footing, and being that stone moves so much and it doesn't go exactly where you place it. I knew it was less work for me to do this now than after they're in here and walking around and grading and the stone spilling over and then having to put the pipe in afterwards and having low spots and high spots. This was just nice and simple. I know that the stone has the same elevation, or the pipe has the same elevation around the entire house. I got my cleanouts in, my sump pipes piped in. I still have to dig the pits, but worked out really well. So those who are wondering why I put the drainage in beforehand, it's just because of the spec, for the superior wall system. So it worked out really well. So at this point, I'm waiting on an inspection and meeting with the precast company to go over, make sure everything's good to go. I'll fine tune everything. I'll get my pads dug, my footings for the pads where the piers are going to be in the basement, so that I can set all of them, and then I'll stone the interior. I'm actually waiting on a little bit of rain because everything's dried out so much, so the sand in the base of the hole is really turning powdery and silty. So I'm waiting for a little bit of rain to firm things up some so I can get it compacted, and then I'll get my stone dumped in there, and the footings the walls are getting installed on the 18th. So I'm doing a crawl space. There's a high water table and on our area, so I didn't want to be dealing with water table issues. I also, a lot of times, basements are just a collection of crap. I wanted to avoid that. So I'm building the house with a conditioned crawl space. It'll be a 4 foot, a little bit less, maybe 3'10" clear span. I'm going to hang the floor. The beams will be flush within the floor system. More work, a little bit more money, but for roughing in all my utilities and being that everything's going to be in that conditioned space, it's just going to make for a much cleaner install, much cleaner crawl space when I can just tuck my ductwork against the bottom of the floors. It doesn't have to be below beams. It doesn't have to go around beams. So in the long run, again, upfront cost, upfront labor, but it's going to make living in the house, servicing anything down there, and installing everything down there much simpler than dealing with beams everywhere. So I'm hoping that that pays back on the back end, hanging everything and having the beams flush. So the house is a modest house. It's nothing crazy. I have some really great products, some really great systems going to this house. It's going to be durable. It's going to be resilient. It's going to be energy efficient. A lot of the brands that I'm working with, that's their model. That's what I'm going to them for, but it's not going to be anything over the top. I'm not looking to create a golden egg here. I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel. I just want a good house. I want a house that I don't have to spend my life maintaining, that I don't have to spend my life and my time and my money servicing. So I'm trying to build a good house that most people that I know could afford, right? I'm not looking to build for the 2-3%. I want to build something like my customers have, like most people, something that's attainable for most people. So it's a 2,850 square foot house. It's single floor. It is a ranch. I got the initial plans from a company called Designed by Frank. They sent me plans. I then worked with a local architect to make sure that they fit what I needed to for my market. We made some tweaks. We made some changes. We then submitted all the structurals and got the approvals. The roof's going to be trussed, so I had to get all that approved and sent over. And it's all one floor living. There will be some attic storage. Again, conditioned crawl space, so all my utilities can go down there. We're going to have exterior insulation on the house because code requires it unless I go with spray foam, and I didn't want to spray foam the entire house. Andersen 400 series windows, triple glazed, which I'm really pumped about from a sound perspective and an energy efficiency perspective. I've always lived in old houses, so I'm really excited about that. You guys will see as I document a lot of this process throughout the build, the products I'm using, why I'm using them, why we're choosing the systems that we are, and how I'm implementing them and integrating them into my workflow. So what I've been doing every day so far it's been a lot of layout. It's been a lot of figuring the project out because I have the plans, I have the job. I'm now at the point where I'm finalizing a lot of material takeoffs and really wrapping my head around what this job consists of and what I need to do. So prior to that, because it's my own money, because I didn't need to get pricing to clients, a lot of it has been ballpark. A lot of it has just been, hey, I understand this, but I haven't sorted out the details of this. So I'm getting into the nitty gritty of it. So that's been a lot of my time, is doing material takeoffs, really refining budgeting, understanding what this build consists of and all the ins and outs of it, understanding what my inspection schedule looks like, just a lot of problem solving, a lot of coordination, getting all of the pieces and the parts moving and in order. So as I proceed with this, I'm not burdened with that on top of the build and everything else. So it's been fun. It's been a little bit hot. It rained for the first few days where I was out there, and I was like, this is terrible. It would be way more fun if it didn't rain. And now it hasn't rained for 2 weeks, and the sun's been beating the hell out of me, and everything's dusty. The stone's dusty. The dust is dusty. The dirt's dusty. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready for some rain some more. So there's been challenges, but so far I'd say that everything's going according to plan. Everything has been accounted for. I'm sure that there's things that I'm missing, being that I'm relatively green at this, but so far it's been somewhat of a seamless process, just a lot of work. Some things that I just amaze me, the cost of stone, how much stone I've used, right? I think at this point I'm probably 600,000 pounds into stone. A lot of it was crushed concrete, which is probably $500 a load, and then this 3/8 stones around $1,500 a load, and then the 3/4 around $800-900 a load. So the amount of money that we've spent on stone so far is amazing to me. That's just not something from my world, being in renovations and remodels, thinking, hey, you're going to spend $10,000-15,000 on stone just to be able to develop your site, just to be able to start digging. So that's been a cost that I didn't realize. The amount of diesel that I'm going through with the site equipment, right? The excavator doesn't use a ton. My tractor never used a ton. The skid steer uses considerably more. Compact track loader, excuse me. So just if I'm pricing jobs, if I'm using my equipment, having a really good understanding of what the operating costs are for each hour that I operate that equipment, and realize that, like, hey, I've already gone through $1,200-1,500 worth of diesel fuel. If that's not something that you account for, you're going to drop the ball. You're going to miss a lot of money there. So just some things that I'm learning as I go. I think it's really interesting. It's going to be a lot of good perspective. It's really great experience. There's aspects of it that I really enjoy. There's aspects of it where I'm like, all right, I don't need to do this anymore. But so far, it's been a good learning experience. I've enjoyed the process. Been a little bit stressful here and there, more so just mentally than physically. I can handle the physical aspect of it, but like I mentioned on a previous podcast, just feeling as though there's a lot of balls in the air and I don't have enough time to get everything that I need to done. But I'm trying to attack this in spurts. I'm trying to determine areas where I can get to where it's like, okay, I've reached this point in the project. If I need to, I can pull off the gas now. I can go make a little bit more money. I can go take care of clients that need some work done. So my first big hurdle is getting the foundation in. At that point, the foundation's in. I can start understanding my framing package. I can get all of that material ordered. I can coordinate with my concrete, my mason to get the slab in the base. I can start understanding if I'm going to need more fill for backfill. Once I get to this point, I can let off the gas. I don't really have somebody that I need to get in immediately because I haven't financed this project yet, other than really being self-funded. So any money that we borrowed, it's a minimal interest rate, and I'm not in a massive rush to get things done. I do have partnerships that I want to fulfill and that I need to get moving on, but my goal right now is get through foundation, and then I can reassess and make sure that I'm on point. So that's helping me mentally cope with some of the stress and some of the anxiety, where I'm not just looking at like, hey, I have to get a CO. I'm just like, let me get to foundation, right? And then from then I'll be like, let me get to roof frame. Let me get the barn permits in. I have to attack this as smaller portions of a bigger job to make sure that I can maintain some sort of clarity and sanity throughout this process. So it's been fun. Everything takes longer than anticipated. It's the biggest site I've had to clean up. At the end of every day, I clean up my tools, and it's easy. I don't have a million tools out, but there's a lot of steps back and forth when you're working on a 2-acre site. Our whole lot is 6 acres, but there's really 2 acres that I'm developing. But yeah, like clean up at the end of the day, I'm like, damn, this is a lot bigger than a kitchen when I'm cleaning up and getting ready to hand the job over to my clients at the end of the workday. I'm still cleaning up every day. But it's a big job site to clean up. It's a big job site for one guy to clean up. But I like, it's nice, it's neat, it's tidy. I don't have trash everywhere. I don't have materials everywhere. Again, I'm just tackling one thing at a time. I want to get the stone in. I want to clean that up, make sure that the parking area is good so I can get the crane in for the superior walls. Any materials that I don't need, I want to get out of there. Any trash that I don't need, I want to get out of there. So just trying to keep a level head throughout this, trying to spend the money where I need to spend the money, not stress too much about the financial aspect of it. It's a big nut. It's a big nut to be spending. It's a big nut to not be working other jobs. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of anxiety. One thing that's really nice is we're 2 lots down from where I currently live. So the girls come home from school. I'm working over there, they come by, they say hi, they bring me something to drink. Tilly brought me a seltzer yesterday and some pretzel chips. Selby came over with something to drink, asked me what I'm doing. It gives me 10, 15 minutes to stop what I'm doing, hang out with them, discuss what I'm doing, teach them something. So that's been really fun, which I really haven't had an opportunity to do that on many jobs before, right? My kids can't just walk to my job. So it's been fun to have them involved. They're obviously not right now really working on it. Yeah, there might be aspects of it that I can have them help with, but it's more so just the moral support and the emotional support. Rachel stopping by at the end of the day, just checking in on things. It's exciting. It's giving me motivation to continue to push through, to do things, seeing them get excited. It excites me. It makes all the hard work worth it. So it's been very exciting. I'm not gonna lie to you that it hasn't been stressful. I'm not gonna lie to you that financially it's not difficult to fork out a ton of money while you're not making a ton of money. But I keep telling myself that all said and done, right, if this is 18 months, if this is 24 months of me self-performing a lot of this build, it's a financial investment. It's investment in us, in our future. We will sell the house that we're in. We'll recoup a lot of what we're putting out right now. We'll have a ton of equity in this. There's obviously going to be a ton of sweat equity in this. So I just keep telling myself this is an investment. It's the same as putting our money into the stock market or putting our money into a 401k. We're investing our money in real estate. And I'm not looking at this as a transactional situation where I'm going to be pulling the money back out, right? This is supposed to be a house that we live in for a long time, but it's going to be worth money. I'm going to get this money back out at some point, and it's an investment. It's a way to invest our money to make money on that for down the road. So I continue to tell myself, but that still is difficult when a truck shows up and drops a load of stone that doesn't look like that much, and you cut a check for $1,500. So it's just been a learning process for me. It's been an emotional learning process. It's been a physical learning process. I've had more stress in my life than I've had in the past couple of years, understandably so. So really testing myself, testing a lot of the work that I've done on myself to maintain a level head, to maintain clarity throughout all of this. So it's been fun. I've enjoyed answering the questions. Keep them coming. I've heard from a lot of people who have done something similar, and it's super inspirational for me. It's really neat to hear those stories, and I really appreciate all of the insight and the feedback and the people who tell me like, hey, I did this, and I was stressed about this, and I wish I hadn't been. I wish I just would have spent this money here, because at the end of the day, it would have been worth it. I wish I would have taken this extra time. So that's all really been helpful and humbling, and I'm extremely grateful for all of it. I'm grateful for all the support, all the partners, everyone who has helped me out, my dad who helped push me over and acquire this property in the first place and really go through this, and still continues to push me to continue to do this, even though it's scary, even though it's outside of my comfort zone, even though there's way easier ways to navigate life. It's something that I need to get outside of my own safety net and push myself and spend the money. And that's difficult for me, but it's good to have people in my court. And a lot of you listening to this are those people in my court, whether I know you on a personal basis or not. So I appreciate that. So that's where I stand with the house build. Foundation going in the 18th, and then I'll figure out framing. We'll measure for trusses. I have all that in the works, but we're just going to confirm all the measurements once the foundation goes in, and then the truss turnaround should be shortly. Get all the lumber dropped. I've already ordered all of the LP structurals as far as subflooring, sheathing, tapes, liquid sealants. So shout out to LP for that amazing experience. My brother works for them, so he's been helping me figure out everything that I need, figure out the order, how the order's going through, all of that stuff. So we'll be using Weather Logic on the exterior of the house, also on the exterior of the barn. And I'm really excited to use that product. It's a great product. It has the built-in WRB. We're going to be using the Legacy subflooring throughout the entire house, so I'm pumped about that as well. And we'll be using Weather Logic on the roof deck as well. So It's going to be a big blue box until finishes start going on. But yeah, I appreciate the relationship I have with LP, all the help, all the companies I've worked with. I've recently been working with SPAC, so I've been discussing a lot of the structural fasteners, different applications. They have truss screws that they're going to look to get me. They have fasteners for attaching the rock wool to the outside that's actually an insulated washer so that you don't have thermal bridging through that. So I'm really interested in looking into that. Just little things that I didn't know about that I'm learning so much more about because this is outside of my normal world. So if you all want to learn about that, I'm going to document a lot of it. I'm walking myself through this. I'm talking myself through this. Some of this shit is made up as I go, and I'm convincing myself that I'm doing it the right way. And this is going to be a test, right? I'm going to be living in this house. We're going to see if it works, if the talk actually works. So I'm excited for you all to be a part of this. If you have any questions, if you want to see anything, if you're unsure of why I'm doing something, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email, tyler@trghomeconcepts.com. I'm still in the office every Tuesday. I'm still doing consulting calls every Tuesday. If you're interested in that, shoot me an email, tyler@trghomeconcepts.com. If you want a specific podcast recording on something that's less business related right now, more just giving you an insider view as to what's going on in my world and what's going on in this house build. But if you want me to answer something specifically, or again, you want to hop on a consulting call, just shoot me an email. We'll talk about it, figure out what works. But I appreciate all of you, appreciate you hanging around. Check out the Modern Craftsman Circle community. That is in our Linktree, Modern Craftsman Pod on Instagram. All right, guys and girls, as always, thank you for everything. I hope you enjoyed the midweek, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Oh, yeah, and don't forget to listen to the main podcast. We have some really great guests coming up. Super excited about, especially the one that I'm recording this afternoon with Nick. All right, guys, catch you later.